Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Tovia. We are going to be making Dill Parmesan scalloped potatoes. It's quick and easy. You'll find all the ingredients in the description box below. So I am heating here my skillet on medium-high heat. To my skillet, I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm adding the olive oil and the butter together at the same time to raise the smoking point of the butter so the butter doesn't burn. Now, if you don't have olive oil on hand, feel free to use whatever kind of oil you desire. So when my butter and olive oil is heating up, I'm going to just slice up an onion. And I'm going to add the onion to the pan. So I'm working on medium heat here. I'm going to clear the decks. So I'm going to just cook the onion on medium-high heat. So I'm just increase the heat a bit, just until the onion begins to turn translucent. The onions are beginning to turn translucent. I'm going to turn the heat back down to medium. To turn translucent and begin to brown. This is what I'm after. So I'm going to add to this 1.5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. If you don't have all-purpose flour, you can use self-rising flour for this. So I'm going to just stir the flour in with the onions, and I'm just going to cook the onions and the flour for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to create like a little roux. I didn't add too much flour because I didn't want my cream to become too thick. I'm using heavy cream for this. So, and it's really important that you cook the flour really well, because if you don't, what's going to happen is when you add the cream and you bake everything, your final texture of the sauce is going to have a very gritty flour-like texture, and that's from the flour being raw. So I'm just going to cook just until everything begins to sort of brown slightly, as you see here. So I'm using full fat, heavy whipping cream. So I'm going to pour in about 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. And I'm just stirring as I'm adding it. I'm going to increase the heat. I'm just going to constantly stir while this comes to a slight boil. So the sauce is beginning to thicken, and this is what we're after. So I'm going to turn the heat down to medium-low, and I'm going to add a few things to this. About 1.5 teaspoons of dried dill. This is from the Spice House. You can find out more about them in the description box. I'm also going to add some granulated garlic. This is from the Spice House as well. I'm going to add about a tablespoon because I love the flavor of garlic. I'm going to give this a stir. Parmesan and Romano cheese. Doesn't take very much. And like I said, you can find all the measurements in the description box. So I'm going to give everything a stir. This is really smelling quite delicious. Now, if it begins to sort of get too thick on you, like it's becoming a little bit thick here, I'm going to add another half a cup of milk. But I'll have the exact measurements in the description box. Not a half a cup of milk, but another half a cup of heavy cream. If you're new to my channel, please hit the thumbs up. Share this video, add it to your playlist, and comment down below. So after adding the cheese, I'm going to just taste it for salt. So at this point, you do want to adjust it to your liking as far as the salt goes. So I'm going to add some salt. And we got some black pepper I'm going to add. So I have my mandolin here, and I have it set to number 2. I'm using the one from Tupperware. And I have russet potatoes that I'm just going to use my mandolin to slice. So I'm going to start off with 2 potatoes, and then if I need more potatoes, I'll add more. Now, if you don't have a mandolin, you could use a knife. So this is how thin I want it. So I'm gonna go ahead and run water over the potatoes, and then we're gonna begin the layering process. So the layering process is really simple. So just use it, whatever pan you have on hand, a deep rectangular shaped pan, and I'm just gonna want to layer potatoes against the bottom of the pan. Use the potato to kind of cover all those little empty spots. Do a super thin layer of salt. A super thin layer. So I didn't add too much salt in the sauce, but I want to salt the potatoes as I go along. So I'm gonna add some of my sauce to the potatoes here, just a little bit. It smells amazing. Now remember, if your sauce gets too thick, just add more cream to thin it out. And then we're just gonna repeat. Do another layer of potatoes. Now if you still have too much sauce left over, just add another potato. Now you can make the sauce ahead of time and freeze it. You can thaw the sauce and assemble a casserole, when you come in from work. So because I just have a little bit of potatoes remaining, I'm just going to go ahead and just sort of layer that in there. So I'm going to do one more super thin layer of salt. And then I'm going to just pour the remaining sauce over the potatoes. I'm just going to kind of spread the sauce over the potatoes a little bit. I'm going to put this in a preheated 400 Fahrenheit degree oven, and this is going to go for about 1.5 hours. So my potatoes are done. It took about 1 hour and 20 minutes for them to completely bake and get all nice and golden. It smells amazing. I'm going to go ahead and just cut this, and I'm gonna scoop some out. So I'll give you a close-up of the potatoes. Oh my. It's tender. You can smell all the herbs and spices in here. So let's give it a taste. Potatoes are nice and creamy. I just love that golden top crust. It just gives it such contrast and flavor. I love the flavor from the dill and the Parmesan together. It's perfect. And there you have it. How to make scalloped potatoes my way. If you enjoyed today's recipe, please hit the thumbs up. Add this video to your playlist. Also, please share this video. Leave a comment down below. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and ring the notification bell. Remember to live and be well. Let's come together and love each other. Thank you for watching.